Many of the pieces of the 19th century guitar were written for young ladies. For finding a good marriage for the daughters of middle class and upper class families in the 19th century, it was important to demonstrate the grace and the culture of the young ladies. Playing the guitar was a way to present themselves to the world. The Caprice number 5 of Opus 26 by Carcassi, I will have a look on that piece under this point of view. Caprice number 5 is a very easy piece in a form, so it's not really a caprice because there's nothing too much surprising in there. So this seems to suit very much to the idea to give it in the hands of young ladies to present their grace and their beauty and their simpleness in order to find a husband. Another way of finding a husband is to go to a ball, and that was not quite a dancing party where you could go just to have fun, but they were orchestrated in the way that you could find and could be chosen as a young girl by the right man of the right family, of the right social possibilities, and whatever seemed to be important to the families of the 19th century upper and middle classes. Now let's dive in this music because that's why we're here. The form is really easy. We have an ABA with a little finale, which is practically all taken from the very first theme. It's in D major. It's quite a sparkling atmosphere that we have in this piece. And this could very much suit to the idea of a dancing party. So imagine young ladies, young men as well, going to that party and being quite excited by the possibilities and by the task that they had on that party. Not only dancing and having fun, but finding the right one. The beginning. That's the first half phrase. The agitation and the sparkling is by this, just like a glass of champagne. If we look closer, we could detect eventually the masculine side in the bass line, and the ladies probably in the higher voices, which in the beginning are quite firm, melodically speaking, but anyway very agitated. The second half phrase is practically turning back from where it came. And so this is the first main part. 8 bars to present the young man and the young ladies in my romantic idea of this piece. How is it going on? Now there is more voice to the ladies, to my opinion, if we hear this. With a very little command by the masculine guests at the end. This is repeated twice, very, very normal, so to say. And it's again 8 bars long. Here we have to do a little comment on the composition, because bar 8 actually is bar 1 of the very first phrase. And this is following the cadence. So what could be an beginning of the next part actually is the closure of the first one. So I prefer to play that not as strong as I would do in the beginning. Here starts the B part, which is as regular as the A part is. Here we have, to my opinion, within that idea of the ball, of a dancing party, 4 persons talking aparted from the rest. They're not dancing, they're just making conversation. The first we have are especially one young lady and one young man. Why do I believe there is a second lady? Well, we have this second contralto voice, which is accompanying the soprano melody. This could just be the second young lady, because a single young lady could never talk to a single young man in public. It's a scandal. That's not possible. Okay, and the young man is not alone too. Listen to this. Here. We have a tenor friend and our main young man, which is more the bass. And then turning back to our main key, the conversation goes on, or probably, well, you could imagine other things, that here are the two ladies to talk. Oops. And the young man. This is repeated twice as well. And we are going back with a long pickup, just to repeat all the scene of the A part. And this is perfectly a copy of the first A part, beside one fact. This part ends, but actually as a beginning of the finale. So this part has 7 bars. It's 7 bars just because the finale begins with the very first bar of the A part. And it's just a repetition of that, which makes this form so simple, ABA. One thing we have to point out anyway is that in the very beginning, in bar 4, the ending of the first half phrase is, it's the A that is repeated in all editions that I found, original editions. Meanwhile, in the ending, there's the C sharp to be repeated. That's a difference. I don't know if that is intentional or not. Anyway, just to keep your spirit sharp and your mind open, try to put in those two differences. The finale is just the repetition of the A part, as I said. Followed by 2 measures that could seem just 2 standard cadence measures. Here practically the soprano, the feminine voices are very firm, with the bass more active. So it's not that energetic. The repetition is the same, but now the mood of the feminine lines in soprano and contralto is rising. Meanwhile, the bass, the man, is bowing down in front of the lady, and this might rise the excitement and the emotion in the lady. Okay, I hope you like that idea. Actually, it is well, very romanticized, as I told in the other video on the Caprice number 4, that actually you could apply poetic ideas or idea of a story which is outside of the music in order to imagine a possible interpretation which makes the piece more lively. So that's it. Thank you very much. You're still here. I'm very glad about this. So consider to subscribe to the channel, to push the like button, and to tell everybody how great those videos are. No, I'm not kidding. Hope you liked it. And if you have anything that you would like to ask me to make a video about, just do so. I would be very glad to read your messages. Thanks very much for watching. Keep in touch. Bye.